Hello and welcome to Inside Scoop. I'm Sumi Das, and joining me is Josh Lowenson, senior writer for CNET. Josh, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
I can't help but notice that you're more dressed up than you normally are.
That's true.
You got dressed up because you were attending this conference, this technology conference that Goldman Sachs has every year, and there was a kind of a special speaker, somebody we don't hear from very often.
There was. It was Apple CEO Tim Cook, who, short of Apple events, really only appears at two things, and this is one of them.
This is one of them.
So you got to go.
Yeah, you got to go because?
Because it's kind of interesting. It's unlike something where it's rehearsed and they're introducing products. It's a sit down with Tim Cook and kind of a Q&A, and you get some of these interesting questions that you normally wouldn't get during an earnings call or obviously any sort of thing where they're launching a new product.
Right. So what did he say? Because he made a little bit of news this morning.
Sure. So, I mean, the real gist of the talk is that Apple's doing great, everything's fine, don't worry about anything.
Yeah. Seemed like he was kind of saying, don't count us out.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have thought, hey, this company can't really grow. Maybe they're done making these kind of really popular products. And he said, you know what, that's not the way we work. That's not in our DNA. We have really good people working here, and we don't believe in limits. Which is kind of an interesting way to look at a business where there really are a lot of limits. I mean, you see these companies really rise, but oftentimes they fall at some point.
Right. And they're maintaining, so to speak. I mean, they had great success with the iPhone 5, even though people are saying that it fell short of expectations. Let's talk about some of the things that he touched upon. Stores, the retail stores that Apple has.
Sure. So he gave us a quick update on stores. Basically, he said that they're actually closing 20 of them, but it's not a bad thing. They're actually closing them down because they got so popular or they just needed renovations. So they're actually moving to bigger facilities or changing the layouts of these stores. Which is kind of interesting, and he really thinks that their stores are the first experience people have with Apple as a company and the first way they see their products. He said he'll actually go to an Apple store and it's like his Prozac.
Okay, so people of the world stop taking Prozac and go to Apple stores?
Exactly, so if you see Tim Cook in an Apple store, like maybe he's not having a good day.
Yeah. Okay, so there was also this lawsuit that was discussed at today's conference. Basically, this was filed by Greenlight. Tell us more about that. It's filed by the shareholders, right?
Right, so I mean, they're not a huge shareholder, but they do own a pretty decent chunk. And ahead of the shareholders meeting, which is later this month, they're really kind of, they sued Apple to try and convince them to pay out more money to shareholders.
It all comes down to money in the end.
It does. And of course, they paid a dividend and they're doing the stock repurchase plan, but some people think they need to give more. So Cook today said that they are considering those kinds of options, but the lawsuit was silly in that he wished that both companies could spend any money that they would do for that and give it to charity, which is, that's trying to take the high road for sure, but it's also like totally dismissing what they did.
Yeah, it was very dismissive the way he handled that discussion, I thought.
Yeah.
And the focus going forward for Apple, is it, did you talk about the iWatch?
No, there was no
Which
talk.
you and I talked about yesterday?
There's no talk of the iWatch. But he really did kind of lay out that their strategy is all about phones and tablets, and he thinks that both those markets are really going to grow a lot. For instance, he said that there's still like half the world's subscribers.
They're really looking at other places in the world,
right,
besides beyond the U.S.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's always potential for that, but he didn't talk any new products.
Okay. And he had this talk very early because he had an invitation from FLOTUS, one Michelle Obama.
Sure.
And that's where he's off to now, right? He's off to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, he's got a busy day. So I guess, Tim Cook from Apple stores and Prozac to sitting with Michelle Obama.
At the State of the Union.
He's a busy dude.
It's all right for some. Josh, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
You didn't have to get dressed up for us next time. Thanks for watching. For Inside Scoop, I'm Sumi Das.